What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel. Today we're here for a new Madden 23 rebuild where we are rebuilding the Baltimore Ravens. And in the most interesting scenario, this is my first Baltimore Ravens rebuild on the channel this year. And I think the most interesting scenario to rebuild the Baltimore Ravens is life after Lamar Jackson. It seems like in real life right now, the longer the contract negotiations go on, the more public it becomes, the more disagreements that come between both parties, the less and less likely it feels like, there's going to be a resolution. And the more likely Lamar Jackson is going to be playing for a brand new team next season. So that is what we're going to explore in today's video. What are the Baltimore Ravens going to look like if they trade Lamar Jackson? I've already found a trade partner. We're going to get the exact same value that the Houston Texans got when they traded Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns. I even think you probably should pay more for Lamar Jackson. Doesn't have nearly as much baggage, but that is what we are going to do. And it's got to be about how we can replenish this roster. Look, literally Lamar Jackson's career has been a 5-year rebuild so far. We're going to have to find a quarterback, ideally, that in the same 5-year period can become a superstar X factor, can change the way the league looks at dual threat quarterbacks, can win an NFL MVP. It is going to be outrageously difficult to hit those plateaus, but we are going to try our best to do so. There is a perfect quarterback to replace Lamar Jackson. You already know by clicking on the video, but first things first, we're going to lose actually a couple free agents, a couple notable ones. Powers cashed out. I don't know where he went. Was it like Denver? You lost some other guys on the defense. Calais Campbell's gone. Marcus Peters is a free agent. Chuck Clark got traded. There's some moves. There's some changes that are going to happen on this roster outside of Lamar Jackson. It's going to make it that much more difficult and that much more important that we use the haul we get in return for Lamar to really, really rebuild this team and get us back to a Super Bowl contender. So for the trade, I'm going to take the exact same compensation the Houston Texans got for Deshaun Watson and apply it here. Now, because Madden restricts you to only 3 draft slots, it restricts you to only 2 draft classes. Year 2 of this rebuild, I will also acquire an additional first-round pick. And I feel like the trade partner that makes the most sense right now for me for Lamar Jackson is the Atlanta Falcons. So the Falcons are sending us pick 8 in the first round of 2023, their first-round pick in 2024, their first-round pick in 2025, as well as their second-round pick in this year's draft. Because you got to remember, that is what the Cleveland Browns roughly gave to the Houston Texans for Deshaun Watson, and Lamar Jackson, his stock is a lot higher for whatever reason in varying ways than what Deshaun Watson's was, because the Browns gave up 3 first-round picks, a 3rd-round pick, and a 4th-round pick to get Deshaun Watson. We're not going to worry too much about the 3rd and the 4th-round pick. We're going to combine that as a 2, and I'm going to get the 2025 first-rounder from the Falcons when the time comes. Now that the Lamar Jackson trade has been pushed through, we are at the midway stage of free agency, where we kind of are in real life right now. Baltimore has been quiet on the free agency market, but we have kind of gone through and done the 3 big moves, notable moves that they've done. Retaining Tyler Huntley, who is currently our quarterback 1. Retaining safety Geno Stone, just a depth player at this point. And bringing in star-dev corner Trayvon Mullen, who's trying to find a home after bouncing around for a couple teams around the league. And maybe the perfect timing. Literally, we did the Browns rebuild, and an hour after that video went up, the Browns traded for Elijah Moore from the Jets. Perfect timing. This one's not nearly as notable, but literally right now, the Baltimore Ravens have signed Nelson Agholor to a 1-year deal. Let's try it. I'm also going to try to bring in Rock Ya-Sin, even though there's a very competitive offer from the Commanders. And, well, we got Agholor, which is something, quite frankly, you don't say if you have a good wide receiver room. But you know what? I'm not going to be anti-Agholor. He ended up finishing his career fairly well for my Philadelphia Eagles. Played big for us during that Super Bowl run. So, hey, best of luck to you. So, there's clearly a quarterback that if Lamar Jackson moves on from, I think almost everybody would want to see in Baltimore. And that is here at pick 8. In the last couple mock drafts, usually the mock drafts can kind of help predict how things are going to fall. I'm worried that we had to trade up. We'd have to give up maybe some decent assets to secure our quarterback, but I'm almost like, do we just roll and keep our picks and expect him to be there at 8? Or is that playing with fire a little too much? Like, Raiders could go QB. Lions could go QB. Seahawks could go QB. I'm worried. Let's bring it live. If this draft kind of falls out the first couple picks in line with that mock draft, if this is Tyree Wilson, which it is, man, he should be there at 8. Bryce Young, Pick 3 to the Arizona Cardinals. They get Will Anderson. Pick 4 to the Colts, C.J. Stroud. Pick 5 was Jalen Carter. Pick 6 was Christian Gonzalez. Pick 7 was, can't remember, Miles Murphy. And we're able to sit there at pick 8, keep all of our assets. We have another first-round pick at 23. And we got our guy, Anthony Richardson. Let's go. And there's a pick at 23 I always wanted to make. Now, I will say, corner with the board, Devin Witherspoon, I could actually get in on a Devin Witherspoon. Bijan Robinson is still there. It's the question of, like, clearly that's who I want. I want Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think that would be a perfect fit for this offense. Jackson Smith-Njigba. You got Bateman, right? Those are kind of your 1-2s at that wide receiver spot that you hope can grow and develop, and yada yada yada, so on and so forth. But JSN is the best wide receiver in this class. But like, is there a way? Like, is he going to continue to slip a little bit? Like, can we find a way to get Devin Witherspoon, and then move some assets to get Jackson Smith-Njigba? Like, is he going to fall to the second round? Because when you look at our secondary, like someone like Devin Witherspoon, like we have pick 8 in the second round from that trade. If Jackson Smith-Njigba falls out of the first round, which is very unlikely, but if teams kind of pencil him in as a pure slot wide receiver, maybe. Because look at our secondary. You can make the argument we need to spread a little bit of love here, because after Marlon Humphrey, there is a significant drop-off for our corner play. Decisions. Let's do it. Let's see if we can find a way to get him. We're going to get Devin Witherspoon at corner at 23, and we're going to monitor the status of Jackson Smith-Njigba. All right, let's bring it live. In my opinion, he's a first-round wide receiver, but we are well into the second round now. We're rolling, and he might fall to us at 8. There is an absolute scenario. Oh, no. Come on. Come on! Yes! Didn't have to trade. The perfect roll. Not only did Anthony Richardson fall to us, we're going to be able to get the wide receiver I wanted in the first round in the second round. Welcome to Baltimore, JSN. So after, honestly, the perfect draft. Didn't have to move up from anywhere spots and got 3 players right away that I absolutely wanted. Anthony Richardson comes in, and that is really the true successor to Lamar Jackson if this happens. And the Ravens want to get a quarterback in the draft. He's going to thrive in this scheme. Maybe, I don't know, Bengal, maybe a little bit low on Anthony Richardson. Let's just see that not be a silver dev trade. I think we'll be fine, though, if we're starting here at a 73 overall. He's a project quarterback. There's no doubt about it. Devin Witherspoon at pick 23. In my opinion, the best tape at corner in this year's draft class. Still some questions about his size and how good of an athlete he is, but he's a very, very good football player, and he is going to be day 1, our starting outside corner 2 on the other side of Humphrey. We got Jackson Smith-Njigba in the second round. I don't know how he falls out of the first round, but in classic Baltimore Raven fashion, an outstanding player at a position, he just falls right into their lap. It's what they do, and they did it again. He's going to be truly amazing for us. We're going to have to fix that speed. We'll get that speed corrected. What do we do? 82. He's not that slow. He got Jarvis Landry speed. He ran a 4.45. So we'll bump that speed up just a little bit. That seems a little harsh. Let's get that in line with what it is in real life. Might actually adjust his rating. Let's do it. Let's see right now. What did JSN Pro Day? I think it was a 4.5. He ran a 4.48. So if you put that in laser time, 4.48, I think you at least got to give him 89. Not a burner. Maybe 89-90. Got some good pop there. I don't want his rating to go up too much. Let's see if we could shave off. We'll shave off the awareness. He doesn't go up or down any rating. He's 74. We make him a 74, but I'm not 82 speed. Come on now. We got speaking of speed, in the third round, we got DJ Turner out of Michigan. 72, fastest 40-yard dash at the combine, 98 speed, 97 acceleration. We got Zach Pickens, a D tackle in the 4th round. He's a 70 overall, likely will kick to one of our defensive ends on our front 3. And then we just got some depth along the offensive line. But Richardson, Witherspoon, JSN, that is a huge haul for the Baltimore Ravens. Hey, we still got 2 more first-round picks coming our way from the Atlanta Falcons from that Lamar trade. In our first preseason tour, I'll give Nelson Aguilar some credit. Already wants to help out one of our other players, more established, long-term options wide receiver in Rashad Bateman. He's doing a great job here. We'll go medium routes. Right now, Bateman, we kind of need him to be deep medium guy, as JSN in the slot's going to be our short range. So we get a nice +2 release, +2 medium route running. Thank you, Nelson. So after acquiring the full Lamar Jackson trade here before we start the season, where it gives us our 2025 first-round pick, making it 3 for Lamar. It might have been nefarious how we got it. Don't worry about how we got it. We got it. Atlanta can figure it out on their end. Let's take a look at our roster year 1 of a Anthony Richardson era. First year past Lamar Jackson. And look at it, QB 15 is looking pretty good. Got a high ceiling. A lot of pressure does weigh on that dev trait because there's a lot of room for growth and development for Anthony Richardson that we are going to have to find out together. But I think he should obviously thrive in this system, thrive in this scheme, right? Right? There's no way this doesn't work out, right? It's going to age terribly. Looking at our wide receiver room, I mean, everything else remains the same. We're going to give Jackson Smith-Njigba the opportunity to start right away in the slot. I kicked Bakari from depth left tackle in there to left guard to replace Ben Powers. Just kind of a placeholder for the time being. I'm going to go Daniel Falele at right tackle. Morgan Moses up there in age. He's going to regress this season. So I figure if you just give 1 full year Falele, likely their rating would be the same at the end of this season. And Falele has the depth trait and he's a lot younger. So that's what we're going to do there. On the defensive side of the ball, this is where things get a little different. I think we're going to put Travis Jones. You know, he's more of a D tackle. We'll put him on and start him on the front 3 with Matabuke and Pierce. Just kind of getting our best players, our best combo on the field. We'll go there. Young edge rusher, Ajabo, Roquan, Patrick Queen, and Owe. That is going to be our pass rush. Hamilton and Williams at safety. Humphrey, Witherspoon, and Mullen. I mean, Mullen is only like, what, 24? How old is he? He's 25. I mean, yeah, I guess we'll give him the spot over DJ Turner to start there in the slot. But ultimately, let's figure out what kind of dev trait we're dealing with Anthony Richardson, and can he get at least somewhere in the ballpark of the production and success Lamar Jackson was able to have with Baltimore. He might not be able to figure that all out in year 1, but let's at least trend in the right direction. So far, we're about the midway point of the season. There's been some growing pains, some good wins, some good losses, but Justin Matabuke, our star dev defensive tackle, absolutely went off in a loss against the Colts. He is now up to a superstar, plus a nice 8,000 XP for us to roll into the bye, hopefully with a win, and we're 3-4. Hopefully with a win, and we're 3-4. Let's manifest this. Let's manifest this. The servers are slow today. It's a loss. So halfway of year 1, you know, there's going to be some growing pains with Anthony Richardson, and we're 3-6. Really, it's a young team. If you look at like our team, and you're expecting a team with basically Richardson came out as a star dev, which is rough, but like Richardson, Dobbins, Bateman, Smith-Njigba, hell, you could even throw Duvernay into the mix, Falele, Linderbaum on offense, defensively, Matabuke, Jones, Owe, Ojabo, Hamilton, Witherspoon. Like most of our starters, most of the guys we're expected to contribute to our team's success are within like their first 3 years in the league. Like we have a very young team that's only going to get better. This is very much year 1 for a reason. This is very much year 1 as like a floor. This is going to be our team's floor, and our ceiling is very high. But let's take this time now to look at some contract negotiations. Because we didn't pay Lamar Jackson, we have $67 million of available salary cap room that we need to figure out how we want to spend it. First is Matabuke, who's gone up to a superstar dev. I really think we just lock him up for the remainder of the rebuild. 4 years, $50 million. That is great value for an outstanding run defender. You have J.K. Dobbins in the backfield. You know what? This one might be our different one. Let's see how well he plays, because I feel like I've used J.K. Dobbins in other rebuilds, and he hasn't been the best. And maybe a true X-Factor running back could be a huge difference maker in this backfield. Patrick Queen, I want to retain him just because of his ceiling. Kevin Zeitler, I wish he had a little bit more interest because you know me, you want to run your best lineman into the ground. We'll offer him a 1-year, $11 million deal. Just, you know, have one less hole we have to try to fill on the open market. Phrasing, Devin Duvernay. Again, I think that's an area we can also probably look at upgrading. He's a solid role player. But with Jackson Smith and Jacob Rashad Bateman, maybe you throw in, like, again, someone maybe with a little bit higher ceiling. Someone that doesn't need as much work to get to their ceiling. I think we have a lot of those guys on this team right now. A lot of guys that have star devs that we're hoping will become superstars or X factors. And that's well and good. But I feel like we have maybe a little too many of those guys. And they don't always all pan out. So depending on what's available in free agency, maybe we can get guys that are already established with higher dev traits, higher overalls. But I definitely will try to retain Patrick Queen at linebacker. And at the end of year number 1, there was growing pains. We still finished top 10 offense in the NFL and a top 10 passing defense, which is pretty good. I feel like we're not necessarily ahead or behind schedule. We're probably in line with where we should have been, knowing that Baltimore is, you know, I don't know what the word would be, off meta. It wasn't like we were like putting Anthony Richardson on the Bucks or the Chiefs or anything like that. Baltimore's a little bit more of a unique situation. But I think we saw some promising things. Take a look at our stats here. Anthony Richardson, just under 4,000 yards and over 30 passing touchdowns. You know he's going to have some rushing production. That's not bad. I mean, you're taking that every single day of the week if Anthony Richardson can do that as a passer in his rookie season. 31 touchdowns, 11 picks, 67% completion percentage. Outrageous. We had over 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns for J.K. Dobbins. 846 and 10 from Anthony Richardson. I bet you at some point he'll go over 1,000 rushing yards, which will be badass. But, you know, the running backs were actually solid. It's good production from J.K. Dobbins. Over 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards, 66 catches, 15 touchdowns for the rookie Jackson Smith and Jigba. Duvernay, almost 900 yards, 850 and 8 from Mark Andrews. That's solid. 730 and 3 for Bateman. Not too bad. On the defensive side, we got over 100 tackles for both Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith. Both had some sacks and interception production. 10.5 sacks, 15 TFLs for Madubuike. Owe and Ajabo, though, we're looking for a little bit more juice out of them, especially with both of them being star depth players that we want to see have a little bit higher ceiling. Kyle Hamilton led the team, 79 tackles, but with 4 interceptions, 3 picks on 97 tackles for our first-round pick, Devin Witherspoon, because you probably can't spell spoon for some reason in the name generator. But that's fine. Devin Witherspoon, 3 interceptions. Pretty much everyone was contributing this year that we needed to contribute. Looking at the awards, MVP went to Josh Allen. Anthony Richardson with the rushing numbers, which is always heavily skewed in these ratings. Top 3 for MVP. He's number 7 for Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year went to Max Crosby. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Anthony Richardson, so we should be good for him to get up to a superstar dev, which is where I personally would have him all along. Jackson Smith and Jigba runner-up for Offensive Rookie of the Year, so that is an excellent 1-2 punch between the two. Devin Witherspoon coming in number 5 for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then kind of going through the rest of these individual awards. We have no Baltimore Ravens, which is fine. Even let's be honest, kicker of the year is pretty much always copy and paste Justin Tucker. No playoffs. We were last in the division. It's always annoying when you're bad and you're not actually bad enough to have like a really good draft pick. But we do have 2 first-round draft picks, so we could be potentially inclined this offseason, as well as having over $80 million of salary cap. We could be tempted, if we can find one, to go after maybe a generational player. If we can, let's just see what we got here. Is there any generational looking wide receivers? Not really. Is there any generational looking pass rushers? I'm going to say not really. I mean, that guy looks fairly solid. Harold Grenard. Scheme fit as well for us. Ooh. This guy. Jamar Wheaton, 6'6", 275, A power, A tackle, B finesse. Ooh, there could be something right there. There could be something right there. We'll do our homework on Jamar Wheaton. I'll tell you that right now. What else we got here? Great looking linebacker in the 3rd, 4th round. I'll tell you right now, that guy's going to be ours. Orlando McCutcheon. 3 A's? Laughing. I'll overdraft you if I need to. Into the secondary, couple good looking corners. Nothing too ridiculous though. I do think when it comes down to it, we're going to do our homework on Jamar Wheaton. And we'll see what that guy's packing. And we got seasons end. Anthony Richardson gets his point here, and we better see. I'll pump it right into improvisers. Start working on that a little bit. Don't need to go full 2 feet into the scrambler trait. 2 deep accuracy, 1 throw on the run, and rightfully so, Offensive Rookie of the Year grabs himself that superstar dev, which he should have had all along. Looking at the rest of the roster as it relates to dev traits. No one went up. We didn't lose the X Factor for Mark Andrews, but then again, he did have a fairly solid season. So I'm not gonna be too critical. And no one really outside of Richardson probably had a season to go up a dev trait. So that's, everything's in line. On the defensive side, what do we got? Roquan Smith lost his X Factor. Kyle Hamilton gained a superstar. Marlon Humphrey lost his superstar. So, yeah. Defense, not as good with the dev trait roles. For free agency, not the best role that we were looking for. Wasn't really an upgrade at wide receiver. Wasn't really an upgrade at running back. J.K. Dobbins was the highest rated running back. So, and I mean, I thought about Ayuk's just too popular, too common. I feel like we just maybe rely on Bateman and Jackson. Maybe one of those guys will break out this year, and then next year they'll be like that big 90-plus X Factor, 90-plus superstar on the open market. So we'll save the money as it relates to the wide receiver. And want to try to upgrade the running backs. And again, look right there. I might as well just try to bring back J.K. Dobbins. I'm only going to offer him on a 2-year deal so that if there is, again, an upgrade next offseason at the running back spot, we can still do so and then have an affordable RB2 in J.K. Dobbins. What we are going to try to do, as much as Daniel Falele is an interesting weapon, we'll throw in a competitive bid for Wirfs. I'm not going to overpay, but if he wants to come join us, we're definitely going to at least make a reasonable offer. And it looks like we're going to lose J.K. Dobbins. We did land Tristan Wirfs, though, at right tackle, but we are now going in this draft needing a running back. So as we start the draft here, we have pick 5 and 15 in the first round because of our trade. And I just couldn't get enough information on Wheaton to say for sure that he's like a generational player. And there's some other good fits for us within, like, you know, the fringe top 5, top 10. Nick Randolph at running back. Double A's and the B there for ball carrier vision, break tackle. Combine wasn't the best, but I'm getting pretty good vibes that Ely acceleration 4.49, that he's going to be like a really good player. Very interested in him with a top pick. I think looking at these, you know, we could use a wide receiver because we let, you know, our Duvernay and Aguilar walk. Not really much that I'm seeing for us to draft as it relates to the first round. Another position that we could be looking for is still that defensive end spot. So I suppose, you know, someone like Harold Grenard for pick 15 could still very much be in play. Maybe Wheaton does fall to pick 5. I think he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. But I don't know. It's like right on that cutoff. Like maybe if he was a perfect scheme fit for a 3-4, if he was 295, 305, somewhere in that range, I'd go, yeah, I'm gonna jump the, you know, 4 or 5 teams to make sure we can secure his services. But he's not good enough for me to trade multiple first round picks to go up and get for, I guess, is my justification. Secondary is another spot we could potentially look at. There's some good value corners in this year's draft. I scouted Mayo down here, 6'2". He has 3 Bs. Claxton, 3 Bs. Carr looks like he could be pretty dang good as well. But those guys we don't have to trade up for. So I think as it goes right now, if Wheaton does fall, that is where we're going to go. If not, I do like that running back Randolph. But Wheaton is first overall, as expected. Just not good enough for me to make all that leap. Scarborough, we have Matthews there, pick 4. To the Rams, they go Dwight Young. So at pick 5, we are going to draft a running. Anytime you see double A's on pretty much any player that's not an offensive lineman, always going to be very intrigued. Nick Randolph, we need a new running back 1. He is the top scheme fit for the Baltimore Ravens. And we're going to pull the trigger here on our hidden dev running back, double A's, 95 acceleration, 93 agility, 90 speed. We have A, ball carrier vision, A, break tackle, B, carry. The carry could be a little bit higher. A, juke move, A, spin move, B, pass block. Looks pretty damn good to me. Back at pick 15, we have really the whole corner board to kind of go off of here. And they all look, in their own ways, pretty good. Devontae Belton was like the number 1 corner overall. B catch, I mean, the B catch is pretty much the one you can kind of throw out. But he has B man, A press, C zone coverage. So he's a man cover corner. I just wish he was a little bit better athlete. Like that right there. And I'm not saying he's probably going to be a good rating, but usually it's the athletes that tend to have the dev traits. So double B and a D on Johnson. That's a little bit of a pass there. Mims looks kind of solid. Double B, we don't have as much information. Really, I think for me, it's between these two. Grant Mayo and Chris Claxton. Both zone, not scheme fits. But for Claxton, we have the double B and the C, 6 feet tall. Elite agility, 4.4 speed. Combine looks fairly solid. Or we could look at something like Grant Mayo, 6'2", 195. Double B and a C as well. And, he's, same kind of athlete for the most part. Has a strong bench press. Elite. I think literally the only difference is that he has the elite in acceleration. And anytime you get any of those things that say straight up, and then he has elite agility. Agility's not a bad thing, but maybe agility is more so you're thinking like a slot guy. I don't know if I necessarily need a slot corner at this point. So it's kind of a toss-up here. I'll go Grant Mayo. Just, I don't know. I feel like the strength and the jumping on the outside means he's more of an outside corner, because that's kind of what I'm chasing here right now. So I'm going to grab Grant Mayo. And he does pop with it. And that's not bad. 94, 93 in acceleration and speed for running a 4.4. I'll take that every day of the week. I thought that was going to be like 89, 90 at the most. Into the second round needs to be set. I mean, I don't need it. We have Patrick Queen, who we just re-signed, and Roquan Smith. But like, if I had to, I'd be getting the AAA Orlando McCutcheon pass cover. Like, I'll tell you what, this is just more so walking through it. And he's 4.53 speed. Like, this guy here looks ridiculous. But I just, just the context and how our team is built to make, maybe if we ever switch to a 4-3, could be intrigued for that one. And honestly, maybe we should. Honestly, you can make the argument right now our team would be better as a 4-3 defense, because you could go in the inside, Matabuke, you have Michael Pierce for the time being, and then your defensive ends would be a Jabo. I almost want to do that. I'm going to do that. This guy here is good enough. 3 A's. Man, you think I could wait? Third, fourth round? You think I could wait till the third round to get him? Like, we're gonna have a top 15 pick in the third round. He's third, fourth round. How about this? We'll go somewhere else. We'll go a different direction. And if he's still available in the third round, I will completely change my defense to go do that. Because right now, I do want to grab a wide receiver here. And Sean Humphreys, the deep threat, first, second round. So he's slipping to us a little bit. Don't have really any information outside of the fact that he's 4.3 speed and first and 3-cone, first to 20-yard shuttle. Those are the 3 most important stats. And the fact that he's a first-round grade player with first in 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. The 40 could be better. He's not going to have maybe 98, 99 speed like some of the guys that run the 4.2s. But he looks pretty damn good. And at worst, he's going to be, wide receiver 3 this year for us. At best, he might have a depth trait. Could be a sleeper for us for the time being. Oh, no dev. Damn, should have grabbed the linebacker. So in the third round, I did decide to trade up. I have traded our third and our fifth with the Rams to move up about 10 spots so that we can grab the linebacker. He's still on the board. I obviously weren't just going to be able to kick our feet up and wait for him at pick 15. I don't know. He's going to have like a dev trait. He's got to be pretty good for me to completely just change how the defense operates, even if it's for the best for the defense. But Orlando McCutcheon, this guy looks incredible. Truly incredible. And they just What? How does this guy have a normal dev? So, draft recap time. Didn't trade up for the defensive end. Stayed put. Look at this. What? Oh, up to the last pick. We might have had one of those rare all 70 tough drafts. We got Nick Randolph, 83 hidden dev. Borderline generational. Potential. There's potential. I'd say almost anyone that's over an 80. Depends on the dev trait. If this ends up and I've had plenty of guys that are 82, 83, 84 that end up being a star dev, and then you get hoped that they might be a generational type player, and they don't. But he already walks in. This is Bijan Robinson for the most part, man. Walks in the league as a top 20 running back immediately out the gate. So this is our 99 juke move. Let's go. Looks pretty good. I mean, obviously, if I was gonna hit on a generational running back, I'd wish he'd be like a guy that's 97 speed or something crazy like that. But looks pretty damn good, to be completely honest with you. Great compliment to our backfield with Anthony Richardson. Great Mayo, pick 15. I'm not going to complain about that. 76 hidden dev. There was a lot of corners there. Actually, before we finish, I do want to go just kind of look at the corner market, because all the corners look good in their own way. I don't want to see if we made the right call. Second round, Humphreys the speedster, 73 normal dev. We got McCutcheon, 74 traded up for him. Willing to risk exploring the option of going to a 4-3 defense. I don't know, man. Maybe. We'll kind of see how everything, mixes up here. after training camp. We got Steve Dillon, 70 depth safety. Snow, a 71 depth corner. And then we finished up with a couple decent depth picks there. But I got to go take a little sneak peek here at the corner market. Let's see. Okay, Wharton, 78. There might be something there. 78's probably not what you would be looking for if I traded multiple first-round picks up to get him. Let's peek this dev trade. If it's Superstar X Factor, it's only a star. So we made a right call not trading up for Wharton. Definitely not a generational player, and I'm not trading multiple first-round picks. Is Randolph the best player in this draft class? Get the best player into this draft class. Let's go. And it's not even close. I mean, positional value, whatever. He's 5 overall points, far and away the best player in this draft class. Fell to our lap at 5. So for that, I am grateful. Now, let me take a sneak peek here at these corners. Actually, we probably just go by overall. Did I make the right call as it came to the logjam of cornerbacks? Top one is Grant Mayo, 76. We got Mims, 75. Never really considered him. Clyde Meeks, 75. Never really considered him. Claxton, I did. He's 75. What is that, Dev? That was really the only guy that I did was flip-flopping on, was Claxton, and don't be like Superstar or something like that. No. No! No one saw that. We're just going to act like no one saw what that dev trait was, and we made the right call at corner. No one saw that, right? No one saw it. We're moving on. YouTube for the Baltimore Ravens, and look at Randolph through our coaching tree to unveil a dev trait X Factor. Man, I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm holding myself too critical. The fact that if we went with a slightly different corner option, the 50-50 pick, we would have had 2 Superstar X Factors from this draft. But Nick Randolph, number 5 pick, who says you can't draft a running back top 5 overall? That is going to be absolutely ridiculous to pair with our new Superstar quarterback in Anthony Richardson. A lot of pressure, though, on the skill position players. We're really going to have to rely on Bateman and Jigba and Andrews as our big 3. Honestly, I might even have Isaiah Likely act as like, that third wide receiver, having deputized there. Offensive line is better running it back as we've made the big splash signing of Tristan Wirfs in free agency. Him and Stanley make one of the best tackle pairings, if not the best, in at least the AFC. Defensively, I went with the switch, man. We switched it up from a 3-4 to a 4-3. So our front 4 is Owe, Pierce, Matabuke, and Ajabo. We got Patrick Queen, Smith, and McCutcheon as our 3 linebackers. New Superstar safety Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams are outstanding. We have Humphrey, Witherspoon, and our other first-round pick in Mayo lining up in the secondary. All in all, very good team. I do not expect us to miss the playoffs here in year 2. Off a very important Week 12 victory, 28-24 over the division-leading Bengals to pull us within 1 game of catching them. Let's take a look at some contracts here. Very happy with the turnaround this season. Team is definitely still trending in the right direction. Let's look with $69 million. How are we going to spend this? Yep. Do we need a fullback? This is like one of those things where like I don't know if this offense would fall apart without a fullback. So I'll offer a 2-year deal for Riker just to keep him there. Could just draft a fullback. We have Michael Pierce, D tackle. This is where the regression hits. He's probably still going to regress even more. Like I wouldn't be surprised once the offseason kicks in if he's going to be like a 78, 77. So it might make more sense to go with Travis Jones, who's clearly his successor at nose tackle right now. Rashad Bateman, I think just because it's a Ravens rebuild, I want to see if we can continue to develop him and see if we can build some chemistry. So we will extend him for a 3-year deal. Owe, I wonder how he's throwing. I haven't looked at the stats here for all the guys who are switching from a 3-4 to a 4-3, but he's such a freak athlete. I want to continue, because what if he just goes through to a superstar and just these last couple years before you have to start worrying about regression, he really establishes, dominates himself. I'm intrigued by that. And the fact that like those were reasonable contracts. We still have $50 million plus likely, 10, 15 additional million once we hit the offseason. We're going to be able to be aggressive once again in the offseason as long as there's good enough players that are worth bringing in. I just had to wipe a tear of joy off my cheek as Week 14, the cheat code, the Kansas City Chiefs, we beat them 43-7 in a game where Anthony Richardson gets AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Not a crazy amount of passing yards, but 5 touchdowns, 68 yards rushing. Let's go. YouTube finishes with 2 wins of improvement and a playoff berth. 10-7, the Baltimore Ravens second place in the AFC North behind a very good Bengals team. and we're way younger and way more well-rounded than them. So we'll surpass them, maybe not next year. Between the next 2 years, we're really going to establish ourselves as top dogs within the division. But at least this is a good start. Anthony Richardson, 3,700 yards passing, 23 touchdowns. So that's 8 touchdowns less than what we had a year ago. From a rushing standpoint, though, holy shit. I mean, still very good for Anthony Richardson, almost 850 and 6. So you combine it, we're well over, we're pretty much close to 4,500 yards, 29 touchdowns. But look at Randolph, the rookie out of Iowa, generational running back, 1,400 yards, 20 touchdowns. He is up to a 91 overall, 90 if you're going for what it actually is, but 91 because we're simming. It's 91 in sim. Outstanding, just a truly outstanding running back, best running back that the Ravens have had since. Can we say Ray Rice? Are you allowed to say Ray Rice now? I don't know. 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns for Njigba, over 1,000 for Bateman. Andrews was solid. Isaiah Likely got involved on the defensive side, over 100 tackles for Roquan Smith, 4 picks, outstanding. Sacks going from a 4-3 or 3-4 to a 4-3, not really yielding the sacks that we're still looking for. It's kind of rough. And interceptions, obviously not the best either. So the defense is slacking a little bit. We got to figure out a way to put them in the best position to win. MVP goes to Josh Allen with, no Anthony Richardson love here this year. Looking for the original awards. Nick Radoff is Offensive Rookie of the Year, but already an X Factor. There's no real dev traits that can be gained. For the rest of the awards, I don't really think we're going to have anybody in contention. No one really stood out. I mean, Baltimore's not a great, sim team because of how niche their offense is. But we'll see if we can go on a run here in year 2. We're still working. Again, we still have a lot of salary cap. One and done. You don't want to see that. But, I mean, hell, I was just kind of critiquing our defense. Our defense is playing well. We might not be lighting out the box score. We have a top 10 defense. Number 4 in pass, number 4 against the run. Number 4, right? Like, we're just an old school team. If we can get a little bit more in terms of throwing the football, just a little bit. If we can go from 30 to 20, I think that's the difference between 10-7 and 14 wins, 15 wins. We can get there. The Denver Broncos defeat it's like the Ed McCaffrey Bowl. They defeat the Carolina Panthers in the Super Bowl. But looking at our squad, as we have almost $70 million in available salary cap, what do we close out year 2 with dev trait-wise? No dev traits gained. I think we lost Mark Andrews' X Factor, which sucks. I wasn't, again, though, but the offense wasn't great. Like, I wasn't expecting anybody really to go up dev or really down dev. Andrews was still pretty good, but also wasn't elite, so I suppose that's fine. On the defense, Madubuike lost his superstar, which sucks. Mayo, our other first-round pick, pops as a superstar corner. Witherspoon goes up dev trait. What? Did he have like 3-4 picks this year? Maybe it must have been the tackles. That's kind of surprising. Marcus Williams also went up to a superstar dev trade. Okay. Nice. The free agency class doesn't really fall in line with where we wanted to get better. I wanted a wide receiver and potentially a guard. That was it. Defense, I think we're fine. Do get at least an opportunity at a guard, but I'm not going to ridiculously overpay for Elijah Vera-Tucker. But you know what? Because he's clearly the only guy that I would like to upgrade to, maybe I'll give him a big offer. Maybe we'll go with the best shot we can. We're gonna give him a very player-friendly offer. See where that kind of puts us in the race. It does put us at the top, which would be pretty. All right, hopefully next year's a better free agency class, and we'll have all this extra money to spend. I don't want to spoil everything, but it looks like a pretty bad draft class, all things considered. So I want to trade back. We have 2 first-round picks this year from the Lamar Jackson trade. I'd rather have, again, almost want to try to chase, if there's a generational guy, I want to just have a bunch of draft picks to go get that guy. Get that, the needle mover type player. And that doesn't exist. The best players in this draft you will see are guards that are going 2nd, 3rd round. That's what we need for positioning. There's no wide receivers. There's no pass rushers. So pick 14. There's some no team's going to pay 2 first-round picks for the 14th pick. But you know what? I could definitely take some of these offers that are offering me 2026. So that's next year's draft. 1st and 2nd round picks. So I think we'll just take this one from Minnesota. Get a 1st and a 2nd round pick next year for pick 14 this season. And we still have pick 20 this year, which I'll probably will burn that on the best guard available. So at pick 20, we're going to grab Steven Livingston 3 Bs and an A at guard, first, second round grade, 6'6", 340, just a gigantic human being, 41 reps on the bench press. Yeah, there's a plug-and-play day one starter. And honestly, at right guard, we need to replace both guards. We could probably take Filet. So we just added essentially a 6'6", 340 at left guard, 6'8", 380 at right guard. Good luck stopping that. Really, the only other guy that looks draftable for me in this draft is John Brooks at center. Could potentially kick him out to a guard if we need to with Filet. You know, if he has a dev trade, maybe it's competition. So he has 3 A's and a B. Combine, he's pretty much the best athlete. Maybe I want to see a little bit better on the bench press, but he looks very, very good, and he is also hidden dev. So take a look at our draft recap. First round, we gained, well, another first round pick next season. And we still were able to get our top pick at guard, Livingston, who is a 75 hidden dev K1 starter for us at left guard. Second round, we did get a 72 hidden dev center, just, you know, right now just depth at this point. Obviously not going to play ahead of Tyler Lindenbaum, but gives us some other options on the inside. Rest of the draft, we did in the 5th round get a 70 overall free safety, Keenan Wheaton out of New Hampshire. Classic Baltimore Raven, just finding good players from schools no one's ever heard of. But again, really, at this point with the draft, with what we have left over from the Lamar Jackson trade, just give me someone that's clearly S tier for us to trade up for and use all of our draft picks to get that one big needle mover via the first round. Because of another quiet free agency class, the only real changes to the team are what we were able to acquire during the draft. So Livingston is going to start at left guard. And as I said before, we kicked Filet from backup right tackle into right guard to be our Kevin Zeitler replacement. For the offense, though, still chasing like that big game changer at wide receiver. So we're going to have to rely once again on Bateman, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely. But let's be honest, we just run the ball down team's throats ultimately. Defensively, same kind of deal, man. Ready to run it back with our new 4-3. Our secondary is elite. 4 out of our 5 starters are superstar dev. And then the other one's just Marlon Humphrey, who's a 93 overall. So I think we have one of the best secondaries in the NFL. We have arguably the best middle linebacker in the NFL. And everyone else is just pretty damn solid across the board. So I'm expecting us here in year 3 to maybe actually go ahead and win our division. Our first divisional title en route to another playoff appearance. And I would like to see maybe a little bit better passing numbers out of Anthony Richardson. I'm not going to expect him to get, 5,000 yards, 45 touchdowns. That's not the scheme. That's not the system we want. But I do think we could definitely get closer to 30 total passing touchdowns on top of very good rushing production. Let's see it. Midway point of year 3 and a little off the mark. 3 and 4 is not where we really want to be. So that kind of sucks. And being underwhelmed is always never the best thing to have when I'm trying to decide who I want to retain. We have $85 million available. Seeing lots of guys we could upgrade from. David Ajabo at pass rusher. We're definitely getting to that point where it's like, all right, these guys either got to start producing or just accept that they're not going to develop into what we want them to be. Mark Andrews has been great. We're not letting him go anywhere. Ronnie Stanley's been great. We're not letting him go anywhere. But I'll give David Ajabo the opportunity to continue to develop. We'll offer Ronnie Stanley a 3-year deal. He's not worried about it. We got $40 million available. We don't need a backup tight end in Isaiah Likely. Filet at guard. That's just still another spot I think we might be able to get better at on the open market. Travis Jones, D tackle, again, just another developmental guy that just never made the most of their opportunity, regardless of how big or small their opportunity was. So I think we're gonna let these guys walk, save our money, and hopefully we go again for like a broken record here into free agency with some actual nice free agents that we can offer. Try to bring in here and make this team better. So disappointing to say the least. Year 3 is always the weird year, but still, year 3 we finished 7-10 with an almost 90 overall squad, and it's just like when you build a good team when they suck for no apparent reason, it always kind of stings a little bit. But hey, we asked and challenged Anthony Richardson to get 30 touchdowns, exactly what he did. But the interceptions were up this season with 17. As far as running the ball, Nick Randolph was solid, step back from where he was last year, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. 6 and 4 there from Richardson. So Richardson finishes with 4,500 yards, 35 touchdowns. Let's get the math right. It's early in the morning. Give me a break. Which is solid from him. And just solid. I'm seeing solid numbers. JS in over 1,000 yards. Bateman, double digits in both. 1,000 or 4 digits and double digits for touchdowns. 9 and 3 for Andrews is fine. It's acceptable. So, those guys are decent with their numbers. Over 100 tackles for both our linebackers, which I'm good with. Sacks, are we struggling? Are we figuring it out? We're struggling for sure. How are you in a 4-3 scheme and that bad at getting sacks? I'm in the Eagles playbook, Eagles defensive playbook is what I usually do if I switch something like this up, and it's usually pretty good. And it sucks. It's butt cheeks right now. Maybe we gotta switch it up. What's the best 4-3 defensive play? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Lamar Jackson. Well, he's moved. How the Falcons moved on from me? Now he's in Denver, winning the MVP. Okay. Individual awards. I don't think we're gonna see any Baltimore Ravens. We weren't particularly good this season, so it's just I'm gonna do it right now though. Let's change this playbook. The Eagles playbook is not working here, and I changed everything. It's not like we're running some weird. I changed the scheme, but we stay with the Ravens play. No. We fixed it, and it's not working, so we are going to... What is the best... I'm trying to think. Who gets a lot of sacks? Kansas City? People always say Kansas City's a good one. I've never really tried with the Chiefs on the defensive side of the ball. Let's try it. Maybe that's what we're missing. It goes on to year 3 as far as depth traits are concerned on the offensive side of the ball. Mark Andrews lost his superstar. He is down to a star. No one else has changed. That sucks. Livingston... Our first round pick popped as a star dev as well. On the defensive side, we lost the superstar for both our safeties. Hamilton and Williams have lost their dev traits. Mayo and Witherspoon still stays a superstar, which is pretty good. Nothing else has changed. I think I found our guy I want to trade up for. Before we even go into free agency. Look at this. 6'5", 220. Number 1 overall play. He wasn't even. He was number 2 to start the year. Now he's fishing number N. A, catching traffic. A, release. B, catching. B, deep route running. Just finished the combine. Elite acceleration, elite jumping, great speed. 4.43 at 6. He's mine. That's the guy we're getting for. I'm glad that guy exists because free agency yet again looks truly terrible. Best guys are like 30 and above at their position. So it's looking like I mean, I thought about George Pickens, but we'll go and draft our wide receiver here. Maybe year 5 Super Bowl or bust type thing. We're going to have still a good chunk of cap room to maybe sign some ridiculous people to bring in as like a 1-year mercenary to help us get a Super Bowl. But that's like 3 straight free agencies that have been terrible for the needs and wants of this Ravens organization. And a trade that hasn't been seen since the Atlanta Falcons traded up for Julio Jones. Multiple first-round picks. I'm trading all 3. All 3. To get 1-1, this guy needs to be generational. If he is like 78 star dev or something like that, I'm going to be very upset. But if the number 1 player is a wide receiver, and we have been screaming for a wide receiver for this Ravens team, this entire rebuild, the time is now. Demetrius Michaels, 6'5", 220, USC. That's as good as a wide receiver prospect as I've seen. As good. 42-inch vertical. I mean, maybe the combine could be S tier, I suppose, if you wanted to make him just a literally can't miss. I'm very optimistic this guy's going to be ridiculous. 6'5", 94 acceleration, 96 jumping, 93 speed. There is our new, I don't even care what the rating is. He's going to be our wide receiver 1. We need a new guard. Let's just get this guy. Jaron Lucas. 3 Bs and an A. Looks very similar to a guard that we drafted last year. Doesn't have the same power that our last guard did. I think this guy's going to be pretty damn good. And a hidden dev guard. The last thing I really wanted to try to get was a defensive tackle to take over for Travis Jones, who we let walk because free agency has been really bad. And we got options. Look at this guy first. Let's see if we can pick the best option. We got 3 of them. Tyler Jackson. Let's bring this one live. Let's see if we can talk through it. Maybe you'll learn a couple things about drafting or learn what not to do if this pick doesn't work out. So he's 6'3", 285, very undersized for a D tackle. A finesse, A tackle. That's actually pretty good run stuffing numbers for a guy that's undersized. Combine pretty good. Maybe not as good as I would like to see for a guy that's that undersized. But we also have a couple defensive ends that are clearly D tackles. We have Jamal Alexander, 2nd round grade. A tackle, A block shed, C power move. Chance for obviously that's a pretty big gap there for finesse. But 6'4", 309. Ooh. Not the combine we were looking for. That's fine. We still got one more option here. Right defensive end. We have Chad Tucker. A block shed, B power move, B tackle. Good. If this guy has a combine, he's going to be our pick. 6'5", 319. Elite. Yeah, there we go. There's our guy. Chad Tucker. Wish he had a dev trait. He'd be one of those guys too. Whatever his rating is, I think it will go up when we slide him into D tackle. Look at our draft where we finally pulled the trigger on trading multiple picks from the Lamar Jackson trade to get some. Holy shit. 83? Let's go. Demetrius Michaels, 83, hidden dev, wide receiver. Built in the lab, man. Doing this in the running back. What a haul for Lamar Jackson. We got Anthony Richardson. We got an X-Factor running back. We've got an, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to hope if this is a star, I'm going to be pissed. A great, maybe generational wide receiver. All from the Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar also has gone on to win a freaking MVP, and our quarterback is not, but I think we got good value. Lucas, our hidden depth guard, 72. Tucker is 73 as a defensive end. And this can go up to like a 75 potentially when we slide in defensive tackle, which is where he's going to play in our defense. Well, let's see. Goes from 73 to a 76 defensive tackle. Yep, that's a hell of a draft right there. And that's the kind of draft you need when free agency has been as bad as it's been so far in this rebuild. So here's how our team is going to line up. Lucas, our second round pick, he's going to get the start at right guard. See how he can succeed. Daniel Filet. We're going to have I got to make him wide receiver 1. There's just no way we cannot make him wide receiver 1. Michaels at wide receiver 1. JSN still there. And Bateman. So like, we got weapons now. 97, 85, 84, 85, and a 96 running back. Like this offense, we're ready to go. Let's go, Anthony Richardson. It's time. Year 4, year 5. This is when you need to start producing. And I'm optimistic that he will be able to do that. Also, honestly, we have Brooks as a 75 center. What if we make him right guard? Is he the best player available? Kind of mix and match your offensive line. And I'm going to be honest. I guess within the sense of realism, you may want to be cautious. But, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, at least I would say for interior offensive line, between guards and centers, just find your best starting combination. And that's what we'll do here. That's a massive 5-point bump. So there is our best looking offensive line. Defensively, Tucker, 76, third round pick, or what was it, second round pick. Day 1 starter there. Rest of the D-line returns. Everyone else is running it back. Even though we've lost some depth traits, they're still very high overall players. And I would like to think we have the best secondary in the NFL to go along with one of the most intriguing offenses in the NFL. Let's not underwhelm here in year 4. Even though we're coming off a loss midway point of year 4, we are sitting first place in the AFC North. And I don't know. Our dev trait got unveiled for a wide receiver. It's superstar. Generation is an 83 superstar generation. I almost feel like if you're throwing generational tag, they probably should be an X factor. But honestly, I'm taking it. I am not complaining. That guy's an absolute monster. And I'm sure he's playing pretty well. I don't want to spoil the stats for myself right now. But, I mean, we've been able to have consistently 2,000-yard receivers. I would like to see that at least continue with him in his rookie season. And if he gets Offensive Rookie of the Year, who knows? Could be an X factor by all said and done for year 5. Contracts, well, we got Roquan Smith. We have $123 million, so we pretty much, that's how this whole rebuild's gone. We haven't signed anybody, so we have plenty of money to keep our top talent here, and I think we're still going to have great amount of a war chest to hit the open market. We have Marcus Williams. Let's give him 5 years, which is ridiculous for his age, but again, we let him walk. He's easily going to be the best player on the open market. We have Anthony Richardson. Well, there's your, oh my God, come on. $300 million, buddy? Really? Okay, we'll get Kyle Hamilton locked up. I'm not gonna lie. Suddenly, we have a lot less money when it comes to paying all these guys. We're gonna need to try and keep. Oh my God, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna be able to do it. We got Linderbaum at center. I don't think we're gonna be able to do it. No. We got some tough. We should have let someone go. Then we should have let Oh no. Okay, we'll figure it out. Like, you know what? With that money, we should be able to get Richardson, because these are like including the offers we've sent out. We should be able to get Witherspoon and Richardson re-signed with that available cap right now. And then hopefully with the influx that we get at the end of the season, we can get JSN and keep him here. And with just over $1 million of salary cap remaining, we were able to get Anthony Richardson re-signed. And at the end of year 4, I mean, I hope that salary cap number is actually what we have, $58 million. Because that's almost as good as the fact that we went 13-4, won the division, first round bye. Number 2 offense, number 1 defense. Let's go. Shout out Kansas City Chiefs defensive playbook for the win. Take a look at our stats. How did we earn the first round bye? Well, Anthony Richardson kind of, at least as a thrower, cut down on the interceptions. production positive is about the same, 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns. Our running game was on point, 1,700 yards, we'll round up, 19 touchdowns for Randolph, 700 yards, 13 touchdowns for Anthony Richardson. So Richardson finishes with over 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. This is what we're looking for. Michaels might not win Offensive Rookie of the Year, though. 999, 1 yard shy of 1,000. But, you know, we'll see what happens. He's up to an 89 overall with all the boosts. Bonafide wide receiver 1. JSN was solid. But again, you know, it's more so I just want to keep him together. Is he worth stressing about for a salary cap standpoint? I mean, 11 touchdowns is great, but he's never been, you know, prolific. But I do want to keep him on the team. So we will hopefully be able to renegotiate a new contract with him. Roquan over 100 tackles. Our sacks are kind of up. Owe with 12.5. Breakout season for him. Not really much of a pass rush outside of that. Marlon Humphrey, 5 picks, leading the team. Looking at the yearly awards, MVP goes to Josh Allen. Lamar at 4. Richardson at 6. Okay. Look at the rest of these awards. No, I mean, he wasn't even close. I would have loved the X Factor for Michaels, but well off the mark there, unfortunately. For the rest of the individual awards, nothing for the good guys, but that's fine because we have the best and only record and stat that matters. I'm not even going to make... What's the trade? Oh, I think I have trade deadline off because of how I started with the Lamar rebuild. Let's just see how this playoff run goes. Oh, great. We got the cheat code Kansas City Chiefs. How's the number 1 offense, number 1 defense going to play? Oh, we kicked the shit out of them. 35-18, first playoff victory. How did our boy Anthony Richardson do? And we're in the AFC Championship game right away. 38. Look at that. I mean, he played okay. Patrick Mahomes, 3 interceptions. 80 yards and a touchdown, Anthony Richardson. Lovely. But who got those 3 picks on Patrick Mahomes? Roquan had an interception. 2 picks. Marlon Humphrey. Give him the game ball as the Ravens are in the AFC Championship game. It is time against the Jags. Year 4. We still got 1 more year. We still got 1 more year to be playing our best football. And we are in the Super Bowl here at year 4. Handling the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that was 24-21. We'll go box score scout that victory just to see, you know, who's getting their flowers. Very contested matchup. We play the Packers in the Super Bowl. But in this matchup, Anthony Richardson did exactly what he needed to do. Didn't turn the football over. Made some plays when he needed to. And the defense, really outstanding job across the board there. Shutting down and limiting the amount of big-time plays that Trevor Lawrence and the Jags could do. Setting up a year 4 Super Bowl here for the Ravens. We'll hop in, play the moment, see what the fellas can do, and potentially get back-to-back Super Bowls to finish out this rebuild. Let's go. Let's go. Who's that? Who's 45? 45 is, I have no idea. I don't know these numbers off the top of my head. 44, I think it's Humphrey. Will Levis is the quarterback under center, not Jordan Love for the Green Bay Packers. So we have Will Levis going up against Anthony Richardson, quarterbacks from the same draft class, same points of their careers. And the first blood goes to the Baltimore Ravens, getting back-to-back scores up 10-zip. Our defense showing why we might be the best defense in the NFL, shutting out the Green Bay Packers in the first half, putting up 17. But Green Bay scores first in the second half, gets a little bit of momentum. We march right down the field, though, and equalize. This is looking pretty good. Oops. For a Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl. Let's come in on this 3rd down. 3rd and 4. Let's do something crazy. Where's this? I want to throw something to this new wide receiver. Where's he at? Michaels. Just set him straight. 6'5", 93 speed. Can you win a jump ball situation with little to no oh, he gets separation, and he makes the catch. Dagger. We are going to have an opportunity. Hopefully it starts with enough money to re-sign Jackson Smith in Jigba. But we are going to have a perfect opportunity with Baltimore to win 2 Super Bowls. But something that almost feels like impossible at times to do with Lamar Jackson as the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, especially for like a rebuild, is winning a Super Bowl. Baltimore Ravens have struggled with postseason success with Lamar Jackson. So moving on from Lamar Jackson, being able to build a goddamn super team with the haul that we received from the Atlanta Falcons from Lamar Jackson. The Falcons didn't even keep him. He's on the Broncos now somehow. I think we're further ahead. We have Anthony Richardson, equally electrifying of an athlete as Lamar Jackson, and just able to find a way when he needs to in the playoffs to do it all, to bring it home. And that's exactly what we did. Let's get a little, oh yeah, lift that, hoist that bad boy But don't rest on your laurels. Don't kick your feet up. We still got one more year to run this back and defend our Super Bowl crown. And while we don't have the regular season MVP that Lamar Jackson has got in today's video, we have a more important MVP, which is the Super Bowl MVP, Anthony Richardson. And we started the offseason with $27 million of salary cap, which kind of played into our hand of being able to offer JSN a contract extension, which we are able to do. And it still gives us over $10 million, so we might be able to get one upgrade, maybe on the defensive side of the ball. Kind of funny, our OC and DC got poached. I could bring in the great defensive mind known as Sean McVay as my defensive coordinator, huh? I can do that. You're gonna. I'll actually, you know what? I'm gonna bring in Glenn Ross to utilize the Cleveland Browns playbook. And getting one big defensive upgrade on the open market is exactly what we did, bringing in the veteran Vita Vea, who is joining up with us to chase a Super Bowl ring. Full disclosure, because we pretty much shit traded out of this draft, I just simmed it. I set my board, I guess, which I favorited a couple guys, and it panned out fairly well. Justice Toon, we got a 73 normal safety in the second round, just a depth safety at that point. Fourth round, we got a 70 linebacker, Jerome Edwards, normal dev out of Oklahoma State. And looks like a great value pick here in the fifth round, Titus Bartow, 74 wide receiver, normal dev, which kind of sucks, but there's a lot of value. So shout out to the computer for handling the draft board here this season. Fortunately, I don't want to gas up too much, guys. They're just depth. They're depth. Here's a squad who's looked to defend our Super Bowl title. Offensive line, everything offensively is back. We are running it back, able to come to a contract extension with JSN before free agency hit. We have a new freak wide receiver one in Demetrius Michaels, who, even though he statistically may not have the best, we just don't throw the ball. We don't throw the ball. I'm not going to, hold that too much against him. He's an absolute monster, and I think he's going to have a big year. I think he's going over 1,000 this year, if I had to guess. We developed into one of the best running backs, probably the best running back I've ever drafted, Nick Randolph, 99 X Factor. He was our first big pick of the Lamar Jackson trade. Anthony Richardson has developed very nicely. Maybe not as reached X Factor MVP status like we did with Lamar, but I think he's got pretty close. He's had some ridiculous seasons. He's been on the MVP shortlist. But unlike Lamar, he is a Super Bowl MVP and a Super Bowl title. Chasing his second one here, trying to establish his legacy up to 98 throw power. He's developed well as a thrower and has got even better, athletically speaking. I think 2 or 3 bonuses and upgrades in the speed department. Defensively, the addition of Vita Vea really completes our defensive line. An excellent run stuffer. And I think definitely the switch to a 4-3 from a 3-4 has benefited this squad greatly. Marlon Humphrey is back up to a superstar dev, and I don't think there's a better secondary in the NFL. So we're absolutely going to be, talent-wise, fully capable of running it back and winning back-to-back Super Bowls to finish this rebuild. Let's get it. And run it back, at least as far as the regular season is concerned, is what we do. Number 3 offense, number 1 defense in the NFL. So shout out to anybody and everybody that has suggested running the Chiefs defense. This is like the first time I've done that, and it's outstanding. Anthony Richardson, yards kind of suck, but 39 touchdowns to 6 picks. Amazing, incredible, what you could ask for. Randolph, second in the NFL in yards, 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, 8. This might be the MVP for Richardson that we've been looking for. Well over 4,000 yards, total yards from scrimmage, over 40 touchdowns, best team in the NFL. Still no 1,000-yard receiver, which is pretty bad. But the touchdowns are there. 9-8, 8-11, 6-11, 6-9. We'll take it. Defensively, both our linebackers going over 100 tackles. No real interceptions. Sacks are coming along here. 14 sacks Oweh. Somehow the nose tackle Vita Vea, 9 sacks. We really unlocked his pass rushing potential. Year 9 of his career. Let's look at the other awards. MVP. Oh, you bet. So close. Anthony Richardson, runner-up. I think you could make the argument. What were the Eagles' record? I mean, they were also 13-4, so maybe it's not that bad of a robbery or anything like that. He is quarterback of the year. We have nothing on the defensive side. Honestly, that's been one thing that's been a little bit disappointing. Ravens always have great defensive players. I don't think we've won one defensive award this entire rebuild. But we've built an absolute super. This is probably one of our strongest teams we've ever built. We've had unreal draft compensation to do so because of the Lamar trade. But still, 97 offense, 94 overall. Looking to defend our Super Bowl title. We win ugly in the first round, 14-11 over the Miami Dolphins. And it's a divisional rivalry game here against the Cleveland Browns, AFC champion. Let's hop in on this one because it's such a big matchup. Ooh. I would say it would benefit us in the snow because of just, how much we run the football. But they got Nick Chubb on the other side. They're going to be tough. Cleveland strikes first, the first touchdown of the game. And you know what? Guess who has the best kicker in NFL history to make kicks into the conditions? We do. This is a 7-7 ball game. Got to remember, we're the number 1 defense in the NFL, so this better not be a game that gets out of hand, win or lose. I'm not gonna lie. Number 1 defense, got to kind of shut that shit down. Can't let them just get that free touchdown in the first half. But it's a heavyweight bout here. We're trading blows with one another. Each one's getting a haymaker off. Which team is going to get knocked out first? We got a 4-point lead with 2 minutes to go. We can kill this game off. No one can run the ball better than we can. And, okay, we already know what's going to happen. Actually, no, we don't know what's going to happen. If this was any other rebuild, we would know with a minute 20 that the Browns are going to go down the field. They're going to score a touchdown tied up. They're not going to use one single timeout, and I'm going to rage. But remember, we have the number 1 defense in the NFL. When you have the number 1 defense in the NFL, this is where they get a stop. Minute 20. That's what they did. Look, they used their timeouts. They could beat us. And the Ravens are back in the Super Bowl. The rematch of the Harbaugh Bowl as the Niners and the Ravens take each other on here in the Super Bowl. But before we finish out, let's look at this so we can end on a either high or low note. Let's look at our stats here. Who's done what throughout their career to this point? After 5 seasons, Anthony Richardson, 18,000 yards passing, 151 touchdowns, and 52 picks. Pretty damn good. Throw in a combination of almost 4,000 rushing yards, 38 touchdowns. He's lived up to the hype. Randolph has been amazing as well through 4 full seasons, 6,000 yards rushing, 62 touchdowns. So he's averaged almost 100 yards a game. He's been absolutely incredible. 8,200 yards, 65 touchdowns for Mark Andrews, 5,100 yards, 35 touchdowns for Rashad Bateman, 4,700 yards, 47 touchdowns, JSN, and just getting started, man, the freak, Demetrius Michaels, the best wide receiver I think we've drafted in any rebuild so far. Through 2 seasons, 1,600 yards, 16 touchdowns, and that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface on how good he really is. Roquan Smith, almost 1,500 tackles. Obviously, he split that between us and the Bears. We have almost 1,000 total tackles for Patrick Queen, 48 TFLs, 10 picks for him. 800 tackles, 23 picks, Marlon Humphrey. Look on the sacks front. Man, that's been the only disappointing thing. I think the fact that we never really found a true pass rusher in this rebuild has been a little disappointing. Matabuke, 41.5 sacks. He got it up to a superstar dev at one point, so he was pretty good. 38.5 sacks for Owe. Ojabo never really put it together. But yeah, I mean, you know what? To be completely honest, we've never really even had an opportunity to upgrade our pass rush. Nick Bosa is like a popular name. He wasn't even available to sign. There was never a ridiculous pass rusher that we passed over. And I'm not going to criticize too bad, man. We've had the number 1 defense back-to-back years, 91 overall defense, and they're going to be exactly what carries us to a back-to-back Super Bowl here. Ravens, Niners, let's go. I don't think they have nothing for us. We've done it. We've been here and done it. Niners have been, remind me of the Andy Reid Eagles. Kyle Shanahan, they just can't get over the hump. They can go on playoff runs every single year, take advantage of a weak NFC, but at the end of the day, they just don't have what it takes to win a Super Bowl. Now, we talk that shit. Let's back it up here. Start the opening drive with a field goal. Niners connect with a touchdown. No worries. We're not worried. Number 1 defense in the NFL. They'll right the ship here. Offense will get it going. We'll get a big-time splash play. We'll score a touchdown here. Oh, kick a field goal before halftime. Still looking for our first touchdown in the game. Might be right here. Yes, sir. Come on. Come on, boys. Get it. Punch it in. Couldn't. Punch it in. Let's come in. Let's help him out here. What are we, down 5? 3rd and 10. Where's our guy? Michaels. Let's go, man. Heartbreak kid. Michaels. 16 on the outside. Can we get... Oh, my God. He beat him right out the line. Go! Let's go! There's still time. There's still time. But that is what... Right off the line of scrimmage. That is where you get a bona fide style like that. We get the 2-point conversion. That means we can spot him a field goal if we have to, which is exactly what we do. This goes to overtime. An overtime Super Bowl. It's over. Kick the field goal. They missed it. They didn't go for it. They turned it over, it looks like, or punted it. And we get the touch. back, baby. Anthony Richardson, back-to-back super. We don't need to glow. We don't need to finish up with the trophy ceremony because I want to see what happened and who got the overtime. Rashad Bateman, man. Underrated. Never really took his game to another level, but he's been solid. He's been serviceable. And in the biggest moment of this rebuild, Anthony Richardson, 22-yard passing touchdown in overtime to win his second straight Super Bowl. So, hey, Ravens fans, you know what? This video is done if things don't work out well with Lamar and you got to trade him. Maybe, and well, definitely, if you trade him, you're going to get a bunch of first-round picks. You can maximize those picks. You go and get Anthony Richardson. It might almost seem like a lazy comp, right? It's like, oh, yeah, we'll go for Lamar to get Anthony Richardson. Do it! Your team's already ready and built for that style of play. Go with that. Get him on a rookie contract. Maximize all those draft picks. And there is a scenario where life and the grass can be greener without Lamar Jackson. I also say that fully as a massive Lamar Jackson fan. I think, obviously, the Ravens should pay him. But hope you guys had a little bit of fun here with this rebuild. As always, for the next rebuild, we're just... At any point, if the Aaron Rodgers trades come through, I will be doing a Jordan Love Green Bay Packers rebuild. I might just say fuck it because that's taking forever to come to fruition. Just record that and make up my own draft compensation for that trade. But if there is any other rebuilds that you guys want to see, let me know in the comment section below. I know the Cleveland Browns was a big one. We actually got to that this week. Go check out that rebuild. That was pretty fun dealing with all things Deshaun Watson related. And I hope you guys did enjoy this idea of a rebuild with the Baltimore Ravens Beyond Life with Lamar Jackson. But if you have any other suggestions, feel free to fire them off in the comment section below. Always looking for good options here to do. And that'll do it for me today, guys. So if it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out. Love you. Have a good one.